Real Talk with ReZsaun.
Hello world and welcome back to Real Talk with ReZsaun when nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me and I appreciate that. I am your host, ReZsaun Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with ReZsaun, everything's debatable, so on any given week, we could be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. Now, for those who are not new to the show, you know that Wednesday nights is local celebrity spotlight night. On Wednesday nights, we shine a light on the great things that are happening right here in the Low Country. I know we talk about everything that's going on in the world, and right now we have some really, really scary things going on in the world. But tonight we're gonna put all that away just to have a little light on our day, our week, our month, to talk about great people doing great things like this gentleman to my left, Mr. Montril Jones. Thank you so much for joining me, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So, for those who don't know you, Mr. Jones, please introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Montril Jones, originally from Bennettsville, South Carolina. Born and raised country boy. I've been here in Charleston about 10 years now. Met my beautiful wife back in school, and she's from the area, so that's how I ended up
And her
here.
name is?
Ty Mike Jones. Tyola Mike Jones from Edisto Island.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Bennettsville and Edisto in the house, huh?
Yeah, in the house.
All
in the
right.
house. But yeah, I've been here about 10 years, loving it. Love the area, love the people.
All right.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the Low Country? I mean, to Charleston from
Charleston, more
far away of Bennettsville.
My wife.
Okay.
Yeah, she was here, and I was living in North Carolina at the time. I was like, this isn't gonna work. I got to get on the road and move, you know.
Yeah.
And came here, and it's been beautiful ever since.
Okay, and where did you go to school?
Voorhees College,
Voorhees. Okay, cool. That's Orangeburg, right?
Denmark, South Carolina.
Denmark.
Mhm.
Is there really a difference between
Not
Orangeburg
really.
and Denmark?
Not really.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in the Army, we actually went to Denmark Tech and we played. I played for the Army post team.
Okay.
And we went to Denmark Tech and we played them. Those dudes ran us off the court. They were really good at basketball.
Yeah, I think they probably had Coach Chap there at the time. He was a coach.
Yeah, they were really good at basketball.
Oh, yeah.
They beat us really badly.
Yeah.
But that's all right. There's no video out there. That was not in the YouTube era, and that wasn't in the Snapchat era, so there's no videos of me getting beat down or
Yeah,
nothing
you
like
just
that.
admitted it on camera though. So
It's all good. I can admit it. There's no video evidence of it actually happening though, so I'm good with that. Now, if you get some video now, I don't step on the court unless I'm planning on winning. That's what I'll just say that. So you came to Charleston. So what do you do as a vocation here?
Currently, I work for MUSC. That's my regular 9 to 5. But my wife and I, we have two businesses actually. There's an event planning business called Better Than Brilliant Events, and our marketing business which is called Details to Designs.
Okay.
Where we do marketing materials, logos, you name it, we do it. You know, so that's pretty much what we're doing now as far as entrepreneurship. And we're still holding down our 9 to 5s.
Wow.
You know, until letting that be our sponsors until we're ready to launch out full time to entrepreneurship.
Wow. So I want to pause right there because you said you work at MUSC, and right now, you know, there's stuff that, you know, is going on that makes MUSC very, very special in our lives. What do you do at MUSC?
My department, we handle referrals, scheduling. So a bulk of the calls about the corona or COVID-19 virus are coming through our department. We're getting folks the right information about where to go to have your virtual screenings. You know, the sites, how to visit your, how to communicate with your doctors if you're having symptoms. So a bulk of the calls that are coming through MUSC are coming to our department.
Wow. Okay. Dope. That's great. And I just want to thank you and everyone out there, medical personnel, health specialists. You guys are the real heroes right now. Like, you know, 9/11 was the firemen and the police. This is y'all. This is y'all's time to shine. I know that you're going to hear a whole lot more of the negative people complaining about certain things, but I just want to be one of the first ones. You know, if somebody else has told you that, I appreciate the lengths that you guys are going through to keep us safe in this time that we've never seen in our lifespans. And even my grandmother would say, you know, that I mean, even polio wasn't like this.
Right.
Like
Right, yeah.
this is something we were not prepared for. It's something we have not seen. You know, we can say whatever we want about the administration and how they've handled it, but I can definitely say that the medical personnel is definitely something we need to be giving some standing ovations. So thank you to all y'all out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. I definitely want to tip my hat to all of those doctors and nurses that are face to face with the virus itself. You know, on daily in and out, they're dealing with the patients with the symptoms and potential patients with symptoms and getting sick themselves.
Yes.
You know, I
yes.
got a call from a nurse today who works in a rural area who's sick, but wants to go ahead and get tested so she can get back to work. You know, so those are the folks I took my hat to.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. I couldn't imagine being that dedicated to anything. Even though I just came out of teaching, which teachers, another one, y'all just, there's so many people we need to applaud. As an entrepreneur, so what made you go, what drove you into the field of entrepreneurship?
Just the desire of wanting to, for me, it was the desire to want to employ people. You know, I know what it's like to need a job, want a job, you know, and can't find one. So entrepreneurship initially, it was, okay, how can I create something that I could help employ people with? You know, how can I help put food on somebody else's table?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes as an entrepreneurship, you're in need of that yourself, but you also want to be able to create an avenue where other folks can benefit from the business that God has given you.
Yeah,
you know, so that's definitely one of my initial desires for entrepreneurship. Also, just to be able to leave a legacy behind.
Absolutely.
When we decide to have kids, we want to be able to leave them something other than bills.
Absolutely.
You know, something other than woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's definitely right now, just not even only for our kids in the future, but family members now, friends now that are looking for some type of inspiration. Okay, tired of the regular 9 to 5. Can you guys give us some information? And that's how we can become business owners.
Yeah.
So that's mainly our motivation.
Okay. So why the two? Because you have two businesses. Why did you choose those two businesses as the ones to get your legacy started with?
I like to say they chose us in a sense because we were wanting to become business owners. We were like, okay, we couldn't think of what can we do. You know, we're both artsy people. You know, we grew up GT art, you know, in school and stuff like that. So we wanted to put our talents to work, and we wanted to get married. You know, so we said, you know what, you know, it's kind of expensive. You know, let's do our own wedding.
Wow.
So that's how we got into event planning. We did our own wedding, and you know, folks liked it. It came out real good. You know, and from there, we started getting calls, and you know, can you guys do our wedding? We got our first big wedding. Our first wedding was a big wedding. It was probably like 300 people or more.
Oh wow.
And it came pretty much off of somebody saying, hey, we need some help right away.
Yeah.
And we did it. It came out beautifully, and we've been rolling ever since. That's been 5 years ago. And we've been rolling ever since, and we've done everything from weddings to birthday parties, corporate events, we've done concerts. It's taken us some great places. We were invited to New York Fashion Week a couple of years ago, and by one of the designers there, just to come.
Wow.
You know, and that was a big blessing to us. We've been able to do some events for a couple celebrities. You know, just different things, just providing a decoration and creating an atmosphere for people. That we enjoy it. We love doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's been good. And the marketing business grew out of that. We had clients that needed marketing materials for the events.
Okay.
You know? And my wife, being a graphic designer that she is, she's when it comes to that stuff, she's like zones in, and 12, 14 hours later, there's this product, and I'm like, wow, you know. And my job is to kind of formulate a strategy as to how we're going to do this marketing. You know? Okay. So it was that detail to designs was birthed out of the event planning business.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. So really the two really work hand in hand.
They work hand in hand.
That's nice. That's nice. How does it feel running a business with your wife?
I love it, actually. I love it. The reason why is because she knows me, you know, and I know her. And there are points where sometimes I don't have to explain certain things. She automatically knows, you know?
Yeah.
There's that energy, that synergy there. And but it can be difficult because at one end, you got to wear the hat of I'm the husband.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm your business partner.
Yeah.
And what we decide on through our marriage might not be also necessarily a good business decision.
Right, correct.
You know?
Yeah.
So we got to balance the two. We got to balance the two and not let the business run the marriage. You know, that's the key as you know, just remember, we're husband and wife first. Yeah. You know, and once the business starts to interfere with that, we either need to delegate that to other folks, you know, or just develop another strategy. But for the most part, it's working for us.
Wow. Okay. I love that. So, how long have you been married?
8 years.
8 years. Praise God. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Shout
Yeah.
out to married people out there. I tell y'all all the time, like, marriage works if you work for it. If you're willing to work, marriage works.
Absolutely.
If you're not, you probably shouldn't get married. Just gonna put that out there.
Right.
But so you and your wife, y'all have, the businesses together. You both work 9 to 5s, and how do you manage that time to make sure that you have the time to be impactful within your marriage, and it's not all work?
Right. And through trial and error. Initially when we first started, we were just running, boom, 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 event after event after event. And it was my wife who actually told me, "Hey, you need to chill out."
Yeah.
She said,
They do that.
Chill out, Yeah, right.
There.
And I was like, to me, I didn't see where it had become that thing,
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, I don't care. If we have to shut this thing down for a year, we will."
Yeah.
Know? And I was like, "You're right." Happy wife,
Happy life. Absolutely.
And but it helped me to kind of decompress, just to, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you're always wired, you go, especially if you have a 9 to 5, then you got to work your business afterwards.
Yep.
You go home, and matter of fact, they kind of combine in a sense, because sometimes at MUSC, I'm thinking about the business.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Trust me, if anybody feels you, I feel you.
Right. And sometimes those worlds kind of combine or collide in a sense. And for the most part, we had to learn how to just say, we're going to do business here.
Mm-hmm.
And just prioritizing.
Yeah.
Putting things in the proper place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I definitely can identify with. My wife helps me a lot with our nonprofit organization that we run. Mm-hmm. And she had to tell me once, she was like, look, because every Friday night's date night. Mm-hmm. Every Friday night, no matter what's date night. Mm-hmm. And she told me one night, she was like, if we go together to one of your work things, that's not a date.
Right.
And she had to make sure, I didn't think of it. I was like, yo, we're getting dressed up. We're going to this thing. It's a nice thing for us. We're together. She's like, no, we go and you talk to people and I stand on the side. Mm-hmm. That's not fair to me. That's not a date. So if we do that on a Friday night, you still owe me a date.
Right.
And as a husband, as a man, I gotta look back and say, you know what, she's right. Mm-hmm. That sort of goes into what the next thing I want to talk to you about, which is your book, The Mystery of Marriage.
Yeah.
Where did the thought process surrounding that book come from?
It actually started off as a conversation between me, some friends, co-workers, and just questions that we all had about marriage, and being a Christian, my perspectives as a husband, and over time I just started researching more, and some of those questions I had answers for, from some of my peers, and from folks who were thinking about getting married, folks who were married, folks who were divorced that they'll never do it again. Mm-hmm. And it gave me an opportunity to research all of that stuff through the Bible.
Yes.
Because the characters in the Bibles have relationships as well.
Yes, they did.
A lot of times we think about their role as a servant of God, but if you don't think about their role as a husband or a wife,
yes,
or a brother or a sister, and it gave me a different perspective as to what marriage is like as a Christian. Mm-hmm. And not only being married, but having the weight of purpose on you, mm-hmm. and how you have to share that with your spouse. Mm. Not only your purpose, but their purpose. They go hand in hand. Yes. Sometimes we'll get into the mindset or the thought as, oh, my calling, or my this, or my that, or what God has for me to do, not realizing that it's just a piece. Yes. Of a bigger picture. Yes. And your spouse's piece fits your piece, mm-hmm. which both go into that bigger picture. Yeah. So that was the idea behind the book of Ministry of Marriage, and it's a biblical blueprint to winning in marriage. Mm. So I highlight different relationships, Abraham and Sarah, okay, Moses and Zipporah. As a matter of fact, Moses is probably one of my favorite people in the Bible. All right. Reason being is because I like to call him a man with multiple identities in a sense, or split personality. Okay. And what I mean by that is because he was a Hebrew who grew up as an Egyptian, and then once he left Egypt, he was an Egyptian trying to learn how to be a Hebrew all over again. Mm. He was a part of two different worlds. And one thing in the Bible, I'll never forget, I was laying on the couch. This was before we even got married. This was like leading up weeks to, the weeks before, you're in that mode of like, oh Lord, yeah, you're thinking about everything coming together. And I was laying on my couch, and I started, I was already studying the life of Moses, and I saw a part in there that I had never seen before.
Okay.
His wife Zipporah, of course, we know Moses' job was to go and confront Egypt and help to free the people. On his way there, the Bible says he stopped at an inn, and at the inn, the Bible says that God was there ready to kill him. And I sat up on the couch. I was like, why in the world would God call this man just to kill him? Why would God call him to this big purpose, this big plan, just to lead him to a place where he was going to kill him anyway?
Wow.
And the most remarkable thing about that particular incident in the Bible was what Moses' wife Zipporah circumcised her son and put the blood on Moses. And then she said, "You're a bloody husband to me," or I'm just paraphrasing.
Yes.
And what that showed me was that the anointing or the covering of the wife is so important. She was able to cover and protect her husband at a time where he was on his way doing God's work.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times we miss that, especially in a macho male society, we kind of belittle or downgrade the importance or the role of a wife. Her job, Zipporah's job, saved countless people, because by saving Moses, she also helped save the people of Israel. So that gave that perspective, kind of helped me also to write this book, seeing that, okay, the roles carry weight. A husband's role carries weight, a wife's role carries weight, and the more we learn about our individual responsibilities and our roles, the more we can appreciate the other's role.
Wow, that's really good. Thank you for sharing that. That's really good. Like I've never heard anybody explain Moses and Zipporah that way. That makes complete sense. I mean, in addition to the fact that, like you just said, a lot of times when we talk about marriage in the modern era, it's spoken of in such a negative route.
Right.
All you want to hear, all people want to talk about when you talk about marriage is, oh, well, no marriages work, and everybody's cheating, and nobody's faithful, and and he beats her, and he says, but guess what, y'all? That ain't the majority of people.
Right, absolutely.
That's not the majority of people. And I always, like I just said, like, marriage works if you're willing to work for it. If you can live with the fact that you can surround yourself with good people who still think you need to improve.
Right, absolutely.
Like, your spouse is supposed to give you those nuggets. You look at that situation. God wanted to kill Moses' wife because there was something that probably God was like, I can't use him. And then his wife covered him. Right. His wife covering him is what saved him.
Right.
And as men, there's so many times that our wives come in and they're going to add things to our life, that cover us and keep us. There's times where I leave my house in the morning and I'm not of a sound mind, but my wife makes sure that I have a sound mind so that I can leave and do the things that I need to do. And without her, I wouldn't. I tell her all the time, like, I couldn't be who I am if she wasn't who she is.
Absolutely.
In God.
Absolutely.
In God. So I love this. I love your book. If I was a person, who was this book written to? Is it written for people who are looking towards getting married, people who are currently married, or maybe somebody who's like in that middle place where they're not sure, if they've gotten out of a bad marriage and they don't know if they want to go back to it? Who would you say your book speaks to specifically?
Well, when I was began writing the book, I asked myself that question as well. Okay, who's my target audience for that? And I couldn't determine who would benefit the most from it. Okay. Because I had questions coming from people who were single, people who were thinking about getting married, people who never wanted to get married but wanted to just to learn more about it. Yeah. People who were married and were just struggling, and folks who had been divorced saying that I'll never do this again. And just over the course of time, I've gotten testimonies and from folks of all of those different situations saying, "Oh wow, I never thought about getting married until I read your book." It helped me get a different understanding as to what marriage is about. And folks who are going through, some terrible stuff in their marriages were able to look at their spouse differently from a different perspective. Yeah. And they began to understand each other and communicate. Yeah. A lot of times we hear the stats about divorce rates and what causes divorce and separations and stuff like that. And they say either finances or infidelity. Yeah. But they never mention one thing. They never mention selfishness. Yes. Because that's the root of all of it. Mm-hmm. If you don't treat your spouse right because of selfishness, and not only that, if you can remove, if you can become a selfless person in your marriage, it opens the doors to so many other things.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I had one person say that, man, if I had read your book when I was married, I'd probably still be married. You know.
Yeah.
And it's those
Yeah.
things right
Yeah.
there that kind of help me say, okay, wow, it's making an impact.
Yeah.
You know, and the book is circulating, it's growing, it's going. I had one lady say, "Oh, can I have another book because I gave it to my son, and he won't give it back." You know,
Yeah.
Or, you know, I had one lady say, "Well, I passed the book along to my friend, and she passed it to her husband, and he passed it to his friend, and so I don't know where the book is at. So can I have another?" You know, so that to me, that's it makes me excited and happy to know that if somebody can share your work with their inner circle, their trusted voices, that means you're onto something.
Absolutely.
You know, if people will trust you with their trusted voices, people that has a heavy influence on them, and they share their most intimate details of life with them, and they're willing to share your work with that, then you're hitting on something.
Absolutely. I love that. So speaking of your writing, how did your writing lead to you, creating events such as the Black Authors Lab? And how's that going to work for you?
All right. Well, the Black Authors Lab was actually created by Michael Strong and Erica Malachi,
Okay.
all South Carolina natives.
All right.
I was actually joined this organization probably a year ago, and I was at an event at Northeastern Technical College where I was one of the speakers about my book, and other authors were there. And a cousin of mine told me, "Hey, you need to meet Michael. He's throwing an event here the same weekend."
Okay.
So, I was like, all right. But we kind of didn't connect at that point. But I gave him a call, and we talked about what his vision was for the Black Authors Lab and how it's going to provide a platform for African American authors and literature, folks who are just interested in probably writing a book and just wanting to know the history of authors in our state, in our country that are African American, and just talking to him and hearing his passion behind it made me say, I got to connect to this.
Wow.
I got to connect to this because a lot of times, a lot of folks we will look at literature or writing as, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But we, as a people, as an African American people, Black people, one of our greatest resources historically has been our ability to communicate.
Absolutely.
Our ability to communicate. I'm talking about way back, even in Africa, we had gotten so good at communication, we didn't need words.
Yeah.
We use drums.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a rich part of who we are. And understanding that without communication, or not communication, not being able to effectively communicate, either through writing or reading or speaking, you're opening the door for somebody else to come in and do it for you. You're giving the opportunity for somebody else to create a narrative for you.
Yes.
They're going to speak on your behalf, but not necessarily on your behalf, on their behalf through their perspective of what you're wanting and needing.
Yes, I absolutely. I had this conversation. This is the third time I've talked about this in the last 2 days. I talked to two of them. Me and my daughter talked about it, and me and my wife were talking about it. And what we talked about was in relationships, any kind of relationship, whether it be a work relationship, a romantic relationship, business relationship, spiritual relationship, you have to give people the maximum amount of information.
Right.
And because if you don't, they fill in the blanks.
Right. Absolutely.
So, if I go off, I leave today, and me and my wife sitting in the living room, and I just get up and I walk out the house. And she said, "Where'd you go?" I said, "I went to the store."
Right. That leaves room for something.
That doesn't tell her what store I went to. It doesn't tell her, So if she's the type of person to think negatively, she may think, "Oh, he just said he went to the store. He didn't really go to the store. He went to this place. He went to that place.
Right.
But if I'm like, "Nah, I'm giving you information," so like you said, communication is so key. It's so important. And communicating and writing is so important. I think about like when we were younger, when you didn't know how to say things, what did you do? You wrote notes.
Yeah.
This is before the text message. He had to write the note and he had to fold it up real nice and everything. And to give it a "Do you like me? Yes or no" box kind of thing. But that was communication.
Right.
Like you said, us as African American people, that's definitely one of our strengths, man. I love that. So how long has the Black Authors Lab been around?
This is the second year, actually. We were supposed to actually have our second annual book festival in Terrell, South Carolina, which is our central point there, but because of course, the coronavirus and everything, we had to postpone that till next year, actually.
Wow.
So we were supposed to have it March 28th of this year, but definitely having plans to continue that on in next year.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I love everything about African American literature, writers, readers, speakers. I grew up in a household where my grandmother was a great storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she would tell ghost stories.
Shout out to grandmas.
Yeah, oh yeah. We love you.
Love you, grandmas.
But yeah, we grew up in that household where my grandmother's an incredible storyteller to the point where folks were called from all over asking her to come tell stories,
Yeah.
you know. And I'll never forget, I was in 7th grade and I got in trouble last part of school and got suspended and I had to actually end up repeating the 7th grade.
Yeah.
That entire summer, she made me read the same book over and over.
Mm.
The same book over and over. As soon as I got finished, she said, okay, write a paper. I wrote a paper on the book. Okay, go back and read it again, and then give me something different the next time. And that was that summer where I was like, okay, I started appreciating, you know, reading and stories a lot more, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You know, at first it felt like punishment, but it got to the point where I loved doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Even with my mom was an avid reader, and one of the things that I can remember about us growing up was that, you know, when Christmas comes around, you're expecting these great gifts and stuff like that. I mean, we used to get pretty good gifts.
Mm-hmm.
But she used to hype it up like, oh, I got a great gift for you guys this year. You know, oh, you're gonna love it, and you know, get ready to go up under the tree and we pull it out as a big thing of Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, yeah.
What y'all know about that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, and it was like, you know, my sister was like, I don't want this, you know, but
Right.
you know, after a while, you know. Yeah, and me, I'm just an inquisitive person. I like to do research, so I started picking up those books and stuff. And you know, I would even go in my mom's room and find some of the books that she had been reading, you know, throughout the year, or whatever like that. And my dad's a research guy. If there's a newspaper anywhere, he was gonna have it, you know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and just from there, you know, I've had teachers that kind of encouraged me along the way. You know, it used to be frustrating to me as far as communication because I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And I didn't know how to write it. And I came across a teacher in middle school who encouraged, you know, writing in journals. You know, don't just write about things that you're doing on a daily basis. Be imaginative. You know, create something.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Create a story. And I began to love doing that. You know, and I got to high school and I came across a teacher who, now this was just for those kids that might be watching, believe in yourself. You know, even if other people don't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I had a teacher who gave me F's on my writing, and I didn't understand why. And I asked her one day. She said that, well, I don't believe you wrote this. I think it's plagiarized because you don't talk the way you write.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, you know, and you know, it discouraged me for a long time. I stopped writing.
Mm.
And then I had another teacher who came in and said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to write it the right way.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Where you can communicate and then it'll never be doubted that it's you. You know? And so that happened, and shout out to Miss Gilchrist.
Hey, Miss Gilchrist, how's it going?
Yeah, and I had the middle school teachers, Miss Scholes. I'll never forget their names. And when I got to my senior year in high school, Mr. DeWeese, he was my English teacher, and I actually didn't need to take the English that senior year, but because of that one teacher that failed me in that class, I took his class, and he asked me right in the beginning of the class, he said, why are you here? I said, well, I had to repeat the class over. He said, well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to help your peers that are needing to pass the exit exam.
Okay.
You know, in the writing section. I was like, okay. So he said, as a reward for helping me, I'm going to let you write a book.
Oh, wow.
So as soon as I finished with helping my peers with just learning the grammatical part of writing and formulating the sentences and stuff like that, he allowed me to write a book. My first book was like a science fiction novel.
Oh, wow.
You know, and that was my senior year in high school. And I never got it published because I was afraid, you know, of somebody saying, oh, this kid, what is he doing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But it opened me up to the world of writing, you know, and ever since then, I've always been a lover of writing and from anything, from books to music to anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So you write music as well?
Yeah, I do. I write songs. Haven't put anything out there like that, but it just comes natural to me just to write songs.
Nice. Yeah, I feel that. I have a hard drive full of music that people could tell me I should put out, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
'Cause I write for me.
Yeah,
You know, like it for me, it's therapeutic. You know, I always like my songbook. Like I typed up this big foreword. It was like, if you can't handle the truth, don't flip any further. But it's my book. It's like it's my dreams, my goals, my aspirations. It's the things that I love about life, and the things that I fear, even my nightmares, my worst thoughts. And but it's mine.
Right.
And you know, one day maybe, you know, I'll pass and like my kids will publish it, like my memoirs or something like that.
Right.
But it's mine. You know, it's so I have stuff recorded. Like a lot of stuff you see in here actually started out as recording equipment.
Wow.
But now I just was like, I'm gonna use this for it. So
yeah.
But God does all things in His time.
He does.
I love this, man. So I can definitely tell that, you know, the hand of God is on your life. Do you have any aspirations towards ministry?
I do. I've pretty much been working in ministry now since 03.
Okay.
2003, just helping in different roles as far as teaching or an armor bearer at one point in time, serving now at my church as one of the leaders, and when it comes to teaching and just welcoming and embracing, you know, Christians and people who are just wanting Jesus. You know, so I don't have a title or anything like that. I just do what I just function in the way that God wants me to function. You know,
what church do you go to?
Kingdom Impact Community, Apostle Aaron Mobley.
All right.
Yeah.
I know Aaron Mobley. I know that name.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to Kingdom Impact.
Kingdom Impact. Shout out to Kingdom Impact.
Hopefully y'all watching. Share this video. Shout out your guy. Yeah, man. I love it, man. Is there anything else that you wanted to share?
Well, pretty much just for everybody to stay safe, you know.
Yeah. Duck that Rona.
Definitely. If there's anything that you want to do in life, just do it. You know, sometimes, I mean, I understand me, I'm a planner. I know what it's like to have a long thought out plan, but sometimes you just got to do.
Think long, you think wrong.
Think long, you think wrong.
Absolutely. I love that, man. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, the book. Where can they find your book?
Oh, yeah, the book. Of course, you can find it on Amazon. It's also available Kindle. You can find it on, matter of fact, you can contact me.
Contact you.
Yeah, Montril L. Jones on Facebook. Same thing on Instagram. You can email me at trailj79@gmail.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. This has been an amazing opportunity. I loved getting to know you. As I always tell people, once you come on the show, once you're a friend of Real Talk ReZsaun, and anytime you need to come back on, you or your wonderful wife, y'all have an opportunity. Like, the doors are open. Just let me know. Hey, I need a date, and we'll get you locked in, man.
Wonderful.
I love it. I love what you do. I want to, you know, I pray for the success of what you do, but I'm pretty sure you don't need it. You're good to go.
Thank you. Likewise. And I appreciate the platform that you provide for us, and continue to do what you're doing, man.
Amen, man. Amen. All things in God's time.
Oh, yeah.
All things in God's time. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for watching this week. Remember that the show is now just on Wednesday nights. I am no longer doing the Sunday night show until I finish my grad school. Once I finish grad school, then we probably bring the Sunday shows back. But every Wednesday, I will be interviewing my local celebrities. And next week, my guest is, drum roll, is still rolling because I'm waiting for this to open. It is still opening. It's moving that slow. Next week's guest is, come on, what are you doing? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm usually much more prepared than this. Okay. I'm just going to put it, oh, there it is. Oh, next week's guest is Mr. Clay Middleton, who actually is a pretty big deal. I actually met Clay Middleton when he was working as the lead security for the Cory Booker campaign. Dude is that deal. I'm excited to talk to him about everything that's going on from the current administration to what's going on in this upcoming election and ways that you can get engaged politically and civically. Engaged as a citizen. So please make sure you tune in next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Lord willing, as long as we don't go on like a mandatory you can't leave your house kind of thing. If you are doing something in the community that you would like a light shined on, please reach out to me on my website. That's www.realtalkwithReZsaun. That's www.realtalkwithreZsaun.com, so we can discuss getting you on the show. This and all my shows, in addition to my Car Chronicles series, is now available for your listening pleasure via Apple, Google, Spotify, and any place you can find podcasts. You can also find it on my website, www.realtalkwithreZsaun.com. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unplanned, please be sure to click the follow or subscribe tab on the page and turn on the notifications so that you will know when something new has been posted to the page. In the meantime, please follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's happening with Real Talk. All you got to do, Wherever you go, I don't care what social media site it is, except for Snapchat. Type in Real Talk ReZsaun and I will pop up. I'm also not on TikTok because I'm not 9 years old. Feel free to leave comments, questions, and whatever else you'd like to say in the message section or the comment section below. I love reading your messages and getting your feedback, even if it's negative. Why? Because I do not seek for people to tell me how great I am. I seek to become as great as I can possibly be, and that only happens with honest feedback. I am also currently accepting invitations for speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you would like for me to host or speak at your event, you can request me via my website. You guessed it, www.realtalkrezaun.com. Always remember, in closing, that God is everything and without him we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he's bound to fall for anything. Now that's real talk. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.